Good morning, guys, and welcome back to my channel. I know I'm speaking so quietly, but I'm filming outside. I woke up super early to do this because I live with flatmates and I get so shy when they see, I guess. So I've been living in New Zealand for about 3 months now. Yeah, January, February, March, April, more than 3 months now, and we are currently in lockdown still, so we're just staying home, working from home, that kind of thing. But I thought it'd be really fun to do a little comparison about things that are different between Canada and New Zealand, because lots of people say New Zealand feels so much like Canada, and it'll feel like home and all that stuff, and honestly it really does. But there are some things that are different. These aren't like crazy differences, but I thought it'd be kind of fun. I kind of put off filming this video because I thought that maybe I'd think of more, but I think I have like, I don't know, 16 or something, so I'll just show you what I have. They're just fun little things. So the first one is that they use different terms for a lot of things, which actually threw me off. So for example, they refer to the trunk of their car as the boot of their car, so I had no idea what they're talking about at first. They refer to a cart, like a grocery store cart, as a trolley or a trundler, and they refer to a wetsuit as a wettie, which makes sense, I guess. But there's so many other ones, but obviously when I was like, oh, I should think of some, I couldn't. The next thing is that grocery stores have no end conveyor belts. So in Canada, when you go to buy your groceries, you put it all on a conveyor belt, they scan it through, and they put it on another conveyor belt that's equally as long, and then you just bag your own groceries. Here they just have little like spinny rotating bag holders, and they bag your groceries for you. So it's made it quite challenging. The first bit of lockdown where they were piling all your groceries onto there, but you had to bag them, but you were still trying to like unload your cart with only one shopper. It was just something I noticed. I was like, oh yeah, true, they have nowhere to really put the groceries. Number 3 is nobody has screens on their doors or windows, which is really interesting because everyone keeps their doors and windows open wide here, at least right now, because it is the end of summer. It's still quite hot during the day, so everyone keeps their doors and windows open super wide, and there's no screens. So if you keep them open too late at night and it's dark outside and light inside, you will have so many moths inside your house. They don't not have insects, but they don't have like mosquitoes and stuff to the same degree that we seem to have in Canada in the summer. So maybe that's why, I don't know. There's still like some flies that get in the house, but not tons. Number 4 is they drive on the left side. So this was so tricky for me to wrap my brain around. The first time I drove on the left side, I was so nervous, and like making a left-hand turn is fine because it's the same as making a right-hand turn at home. You can just go with the flow of traffic, but I still can't, it still like catches me off guard, or like I have to really think making a right-hand turn. Now I'm so used to it that it feels very familiar, but there's been like the off chance or the off time where I've been pulling out of the driveway and I can tell I'm about to head for the right lane, and I'm like, oh shoot, I have to be in the left lane. But I just remember sounds like I still don't know how to drive, but I do. I just remember driver has to be closest to the middle line no matter what country you're in. That stays true. The other thing is the price of gas. Guys, the price of gas here is insane. Okay, it's been dropping a bit, but when we first got here it was $2.25 a liter, which is crazy. At home it's like $1.30 something, and even with the currency exchange, it does not make it equal. At home I've heard it's dropped to like, the lowest my dad sent me a picture of was 59 cents, almost 60 a liter. Here it has dropped to $1.80, which is really good, but we're not allowed to drive anywhere other than groceries, so we've used like a smidgen, but we'll probably fill it next time just to keep it topped up while gas is cheap. The other thing is, on your phone plans, your data rolls over. So whatever you didn't use the month before, you get to keep for the next month. So I started on a $30 a month phone plan, which I think gave me like 5 gigs of data. And then I dropped down to a $19 a month plan, which added like, I don't know, like 1.25. So then I had 6 gigs, because you also get 2 free hours of data every day. And then we found out there's a $40 plan half off, so now I'm on the $40 plan for 3 months, which I think gives me 8 gigs per month. The cat's gonna poop in the garden. I think it gives me 8 gigs a month, so I have an absurd amount of data now. And after these 3 months, I'm just gonna drop down to a $10 plan, I think, with no data, because I have enough stockpiled, honestly, for the year. The reason we were stockpiling data was for our trips, because we we're supposed to go on a 2-week holiday these 2 weeks with my parents to the South Island, and then in another 6 weeks we have another 2 weeks off, and in another 6 weeks we have another 2 weeks off. So we're supposed to be going on a lot of trips. Obviously the first one is cancelled. I'm not sure about the next ones, but that's why. So yeah, I'm basically gonna go down to a super cheap phone plan now because I don't really need data. The next thing is that rent is listed and paid weekly. So when we were first looking for places, I was like, oh my gosh, like everyone told us that rent in Wellington was so expensive and blah 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 blah, but I was like, it's not that bad. And then I realized that the rent prices were weekly, not monthly, whereas in Canada everything is listed per month. You pay per month, you pay first and last month's rent. Here you pay per week, it's listed per week. You usually pay first week and last week, I think. So I was like, oh my gosh, like 500, that's crazy. But it was 500 a week. Okay, the next thing is, I'm not totally clear on this 100%, but you pay to visit the doctor. So for your first, I just registered with a doctor just to be registered, just in case before the lockdown, which I'm so thankful I did. I think your first visit costs you $50. And then I think every visit after that costs $25. And I think that's the same for residents and citizens as well as us. We're just on a 2-year working holiday visa, but I'm genuinely not sure if that's the case. It's not like unaffordable because it's $25, but if you're going a lot, that obviously adds up. So that's different than home, because at home we don't pay for the doctor. Well, we pay in our taxes, but okay. The next thing is that hot cross buns are super popular here. And I don't know about anyone else, but I actually didn't even know what a hot cross bun was until I got here. When I was in grade 4, which they call year 5 here, we got reporters, and the first song we learned was hot cross buns, but I had no idea what they were. I just assumed they were like fresh buns from the bakery. I didn't realize they were like a dessert type of bun, and they sell out over Easter here. There's like all these different types. My roommates, my flatmates all bought like lots of different buns. I didn't buy any, but yeah, I just never knew what hot cross buns were, and they're so popular here. Also, before we went into lockdown, I knew the libraries were closing, so I went to the library, got a library card, and I wanted to take out some books I could read before we were home for 4 weeks. And I asked her how many books I could take out, and she said unlimited, like there is no limit. She said someone once had like 400 books out or something. So I took out 3. I took out a cooking book, a book on like time management and motivation, and a book on hormones. But yeah, there is no limit. I don't know if that's just a library near me or if that's like a thing here, but I thought it was super weird as well. The sun is much stronger here because of the lack of ozone. I'm not going to give too many facts because I don't really know why. I just know it's way stronger and you burn way faster, and there's way more radiation. And I've heard that the sun here is 40% as strong as the sun in Australia. Again, I don't know if that's actually true, if it's like specifically 40%, but it's really strong, and you have to be really careful that you put lots of sunscreen on, and I wear a hat everywhere, like you burn quite quickly. Oh, and the direction that temperature changes is backwards, and what I mean by that is if you're from Canada, you know that you always think of the north as being really cold and the south as being much warmer, but here, because we're as close to Antarctica as you can get, as you go farther north on the North Island, it's way warmer, and the South Island is way colder, which again is just like a backwards thing to remember. It just does feel like it kind of throws me off sometimes, because you're like, wait a sec, it's gonna be winter and it's gonna be colder because it's the South Island. One thing that's like super weird, it just seems very odd to me, is that your bus card, which you can get, is called a snapper card, which is like our version of in Toronto Go, but you can't refill it online. It's so weird. You can't refill it on your phone, you can't refill it online. You have to go to the convenience store, which they call dairies, there's another example, and they have to refill it for you. And it's just inconvenient. Like, I don't know, it's so weird. And if you get a refund, like we got charged penalties for not tapping off, even though we did, and everyone on our bus was charged a penalty because the machine wasn't working. So they refunded us, all of us, like $8, which is obviously a lot. And you can go online and you submit your refund, at least you can do that online. And then they say, yep, your refund is $8. They still won't put it back on your online account. You still have to go to a dairy to get it done. And I'm just like, why? We have the technology, people. It would be so much more convenient. But for some reason, they can't. But if you have an Android, they can. But there's no Apple app, which also seems weird to me because what I'm used to is that Apple apps always come out first and then Android, but maybe Androids are more popular here. I'm actually not sure about that. Okay, I think the last thing I wanted to say, and this isn't necessarily a comparison to Canada, it's just something I've noticed, is that people are incredibly generous here. They're very willing to let you borrow their car, let you borrow their guitar, let you borrow their paddleboard, let you borrow their, you know, beach house. These are all things that I've been offered, and I'm just like, holy smokes. What I'm kind of used to is, obviously you're generous and you share, but certain things are, I don't know, like we just moved here, and some of the things that my coworkers offered to help us out was just beyond generous, and it has made us feel like we have some people to fall back on during the lockdown, even though we can't see them. We're obviously here with no family at all. We just moved here, we kind of just got settled, just got into the swing, and then they told us we were going to be home for 4 weeks. So we've both handled it pretty well. I think like we've kept busy every day. We had the first 2 weeks as our holiday where we were supposed to go to the South Island, and now we're back to work today. Actually, I have a meeting at 8:30, which is why I'm up so early. It's 7:22. But yeah, just it has been really nice to feel like we have people in our corner. So anyways, I have wanted to film a lot of videos. I have a lot of ideas, but I do have, there are 5 of us living here, and you guys know I just get really nervous. I don't even like Simon watching me film. So yeah, I get nervous, and I like to have the house to myself when I do it. So when we're out of lockdown and people are kind of out of the house again, I will keep filming. I'm going to film some week of my lives, because we had a really great routine going here. We're doing tons of hiking, and I was volunteering and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I will do that, and I will get back into it. I've got video footage to edit, but it's not as like good as I thought. And Simon and I started like our own channel, so anything to do with our hikes and stuff is pretty much going up on there. But I want to keep this one going because I really love this channel the most, because it's mine and my first one. And it just gives me like an outlet to share things. So I hope you enjoyed this video of differences between Canada and New Zealand. I hope you can actually hear me, because I'm talking super quietly right now. Yeah, and I did film a day in my life in quarantine. That'll be coming soon. And I hope you're all staying home and staying safe.